You typed a draft saying no, then deleted it. You traded your boundary for comfort. This isn't you being highly responsible or polite. It's a psychological reflex that reframes fear-based avoidance as a protective choice. You'll learn exactly how to hold your ground. Why does panic disguise itself as a favor? The lie you call caution. 40 minutes vanish on a text that needs 2 sentences. 10 of those minutes go into debating if you should use an exclamation point or a period. The attempt to say no failed. Dressing fear up as caution makes it feel respectable. Ask yourself if you're in danger or just dodging discomfort. A hidden reflex makes that choice and you lose ground. Why empathy is sometimes an excuse. A Saturday email hits your inbox, so you draft a denial, picture your boss stressing, and delete the message. You label your fear of disappointing them as empathy. Write the literal cost of saying yes. Calling your retreat a favor immediately lowers your guilt. It also keeps you trapped in a commitment you resent. You pay someone else's mortgage while your own house goes into foreclosure. Every hour you give them is an hour you steal from your own rest. Naming the actual price makes the trade visible. Saying yes to them means saying no to yourself. Once you put the sacrifice in ink, the illusion of responsibility shatters. This dynamic doesn't stop at the office. You carry the same burden into your closest friendships, and you have yet to see how much that emotional debt costs you every single day. The trap of the perfect tone. One choice delivers a clear refusal. The other traps you in an endless loop of rewriting. You stare at a blinking cursor for almost an hour trying to make a boundary sound like a suggestion. Obsessing over tone is a stalling tactic that dilutes your limit until it breaks. You water down the medicine until it tastes sweet. The spoonful goes down easily, but it no longer cures the illness. You soften the text so much that the actual message disappears. A quick justification gives them a loophole to exploit. Draft the boundary in 1 sentence without an apology. When they read a flat statement, the negotiation ends. Your time is finite. You spend hours negotiating against yourself, hoping to avoid a moment of friction. By the time you hit send, you have already paid the price in hours you can never recover. Waiting for the right mood. Think of a leaky pipe. You might ignore it because you prefer not to hear the plumber working. You wait for the perfect moment to deliver bad news, though that moment often stays out of reach. Delaying the conflict can provide temporary relief, but it often leads to increased anxiety or dread later on. Their message sits on red. You convince yourself they need to be in a better mood before you reply, so you leave the screen dark. That silence is the water slowly rotting your floorboards. The anticipation of their reaction quickly becomes much worse than the actual fallout. An entire afternoon vanishes while you rehearse an argument that hasn't even happened. You stand in the kitchen, locked in a fight with an empty room. You avoid the argument today, but the person you live with pays the price. They stop getting your attention because you are busy fighting ghosts. The backfire after the boundary. Why does the panic spike the moment the screen goes dark? The refusal finally goes through, but your hands hover until you shoot back a note offering to help. You send the boundary, but immediately follow up to rescue them from it. Stepping back in prevents them from learning how to handle disappointment. Locking the front door means nothing if you leave the living room window wide open. Your follow-up offer becomes that open window. It invites the exact pressure you just tried to lock out. Staring at the empty chat bubble keeps the connection alive. Putting the device away removes the visual trigger pushing you to manage their reaction. You may find that the urge to fix their mood diminishes once you create physical distance from the device. Send the message and put the phone out of sight. The moment you stop managing their reaction, you observe how they respond to your boundaries. This gives you valuable information about the relationship. How to finally hit send. Now you know the name. Calling your fear responsibility buys you relief today, but it ensures you stay stuck tomorrow. You wait for a risk-free moment to send the draft, forgetting you control the timeline. Write the literal cost of saying yes. Draft the boundary in 1 sentence without an apology. Send the message and put the phone out of sight. That draft is still yours to send. Subscribe for more practical ways to stop hiding and start living honestly. Which of these excuses do you catch yourself using the most?